Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 10,000th edition of the Boring Enterprise Nerds Nerdletter Talk, where we describe what we feel like we're going to write about, and then we wander off course and don't write about that anyway, and we go all kinds of crazy places. Um, Normally, you just have myself, Paul Mutterman, and my incredible co-host, Yelena Perfilieva. However, today we had a couple other folks. For me, they're right here on the thing. I don't know where they are for you guys, but up to my top left on my screen is Paul Hardy from Down Under, and on my bottom right is Jim McDonough from the lovely United States himself. Um, so I guess without further ado, Yelena, I think if you're ready, let's just jump in and start talking about
Yep. Yep.
the
Let's
crazy things occupying your brain this
let's
week.
let's let's do that. All right. Share my stuff. All right. So as always, we have three stories each, and since it's our last issue of the year, by the way, happy holidays, depending on, or happy belated New Year, depends on when you guys are watching this. So one of the stories is going to be about predictions for the next year, but two will be something technology oriented. So I'm sure if you have worked on any SAP project or have been in consulting for some time, you have seen some kind of variation of this. I don't know, it's like comic strip or whatever this format is called.
Uh,
It's just one of them I pulled from the internet. When I had my very first SAP project in 2005, one of the consultants just printed this out and just taped it to the wall in the room where we had all of our meetings. So that was my first encounter with this format. What it talks about essentially is about, I guess, differences in understanding of the same thing between different groups that are usually involved in some kind of software development. And there have been some talks on LinkedIn lately that AI somehow is supposed to solve like whatever this problem is because it understands intent. And I read them like, well, I mean, humans understand intent too. So have you just like tried talking to different people? So that essentially, I think, gonna be the subject of my story. Like before you before you turn to AI to understand your intent, have you tried to like reach into this other person involved here and maybe
it's
just
it.
ask them?
It's like this. It's like we could do a brand campaign, right? Talking the original
Yeah,
prompting, right, or something like that.
exactly. Exactly. So I already have like a catchy title, like "Chat Without the GPT." So something like that. It's so it's going to be just revolutionary, I think, article for our newsletter because people apparently completely like whoosh, like forgot it was an option. So and think that they need some kind of solution for that. I don't know if you guys have like any of the war stories to share about this, or I don't know, any like cool tips about how to how to talk to people, how to make sure you
How to
understand
talk
what
to
you're
people.
doing. Yeah, how to talk to people.
There's only one way around this problem, all right? And I hate to use buzzwords like agile and all that, but
Yeah.
what that translates to in reality is like what I'm building at the moment is incredibly complicated. Right? And at least every 2 weeks, hopefully more frequently, we demonstrate what we've got to the business.
Yeah.
Then pull us down from the development system and say this is, what you're going to be getting. If it's completely wrong, this would be a good time to mention it.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I think I had a story a few issues ago about how back in the days before Agile became kind of the thing and well known, we kind of did Agile in a similar approach. We would have like first meeting to talk about what people want to get, and then we would have another meeting to show them the first iteration of what we understood. And at this point, so something like this would happen, and then they'll be like, no, no, we want like actually this, so we need to get closer to that format, and then we would change before it was too late, before it went to production all the way through. So Agile was supposed to solve all of this, so I don't know why why it didn't. Maybe because people didn't actually adopt Agile in reality. I don't know whatever happened there, but if if nothing solved this like for you so far, I kind of have a feeling AI is not gonna either. That's
Uh,
kind of my take on it.
Not a chance. The only other thing I've been doing again, on what I'm currently working at is actually going out to the field and
Yeah,
sitting with the person who's going to be using it.
yeah,
I've been to Brisbane and I've met the woman there who's going to be using it, and I've been to Melbourne and met the two guys there who are going to be using it. Right? And first of all, that means I know them now,
yeah,
right? So if I stuff up, right, they know who to blame.
yeah,
Right? That
yeah.
focuses your mind really, really well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think sometimes there is just, I mean, the problem with this picture is like there are so many of those little pictures, so it's all the parts that are involved in the project, and sometimes there are people between like developers and customers or business users, as we call them in SAP world, and people sometimes it's good to have people in the middle, but sometimes there are people who shouldn't be there. Really, you should just open direct connection between developers and whoever is going to using their
Yeah.
product, and that can be hugely
Yeah.
beneficial. So yeah, so that's just one story. Second story, I'm not gonna not gonna disclose my sources, but there was certain post on LinkedIn that I'm not gonna who clued me in on, and that was just about horrendous misuse of like database concepts in ABAP development. So my story here is I think everyone should learn SQL before they even go into ABAP. And I know there are some old
Yeah.
jokes about how ABAP is just like Cabal on SQL in, covered in a trench coat or whatever. And that, I mean, I think we went kind of away from that maybe a little bit lately, but in general, it's kind of true. I mean, huge part of ABAP is actually SQL, and I mean ABAP has little
Yeah.
flavor of what SQL essentially is. So without knowing that, without really not being some kind of SQL maven, I mean not by any means, but without having really important base knowledge of like foreign key and like key fields and relationships between tables and fields and basic SQL commands, and when you do like a command, what does it do? How does it work? Without having that, I don't think anyone can be successful in ABAP, to be honest. Because again, I don't know about you guys, but that's probably 80% of what I really do in ABAP. And
Yeah.
especially now,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
I, I mean, it's like you're just like if all of ABAP is the glass jar, the golf balls you put in the glass jar are the
yeah,
database things,
yeah,
and the sand that you
yeah,
pour between them is the
yeah,
rest of the stuff, right?
yeah,
It's all about database stuff. That's
And
yeah.
then
all
you
about
put
database.
pour beer in at the end.
Yeah.
That's
Boy, do
that's
you ever.
yeah, that's a necessary component.
Again, I was talking to Yelena about this. There's this blog on LinkedIn or whatever, where the guy he didn't know anything
Yeah,
really, maybe anything about anything, and he was giving out advice on what to do, and
yeah,
people were saying, "This is great, this is wonderful." Right, so
yeah,
they obviously didn't know either, and I thought, well, how's that going to help if like someone's giving out completely wrong advice and people are believing it? Uh, oh
yeah,
dear,
I
is
don't
all I have to
know.
say.
yeah. I think honestly, I think LinkedIn is turning into the absolute worst place to get like any ABAP advice, other than from like few people that that have some kind of community credentials behind them, or I don't know, some kind of credentials. There are too many just totally random people just posting totally random crap, if I'm completely honest,
Yes,
for
yes,
for
it
for
was.
for this format. So and there is no really no like even reaction. There is no like equivalent of Twitter. What is that called? Like community notes or something where
Oh
someone
yeah.
posts some crap and people are like, no,
Yeah, and
that's not
they
how it
could
works.
correct it. Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
So there is nothing like that on LinkedIn. Anyone can go and just post some crap, and people like you said, yeah, like insightful, like, and well, I mean, good thing now I know two people who I should never work with. So that's, I hope
Yeah.
that's working
Well, I
for
think
them.
I think I think what might happen is you just found two bots you should never work with, probably.
Yeah, yeah, the,
Yeah.
yeah. Comments are
Well, I think if
definitely.
even AI couldn't be as bad as what I was reading. Right? Oh, it takes a
Yeah.
human to be that bad. It really
Yeah.
does.
Yeah. It takes a human to, to post it on LinkedIn at
That
least as a
that's actually a really
example.
good like we will know Skynet has arrived when AI can make the world's shittiest LinkedIn posts. Then we'll know that the bots have come for us.
Yeah. Yes, there is a sub on Reddit called LinkedIn Lunatics where people post like completely
Oh yeah.
unhinged like LinkedIn posts. It's pretty entertaining. I kind of thinking
Yeah.
we need something like that just for SAP because it's just the wildest stuff. It's like sometimes you read it and some of it is just misguided or sometimes person
Yeah.
just don't know. But some of it you look at it's like I don't even I don't even know. I mean, how do you how do you like how did your day start? That you ended
Yeah.
with this like I don't know what to say. So
Well,
that's it. Yeah.
about like 10 years ago, or maybe even longer, I think it was you, Yelena, who posted like the ABAP horrors or whatever,
Yeah.
where it
Yeah.
was
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
people to find rubbish code and post examples of it, and there was so
Yeah.
much, and it was really funny, and obviously
Yeah.
nothing's changed.
Yeah. Yeah, it was ABAP Gore, so it
That's the
was
one.
post on SAP community in like Coffee Corner, and we had to create a new one because the first one it ran over like 300
Yes.
post limit or something. It started to get like super slow, so we opened two of them. But unfortunately, I found that SAP removed all of that, so that's not
Mm,
even in like archives or anything. It's just gone completely. There was some funny stuff though, so yeah,
it was
some
wonderful.
yeah. And I mean many teachable moments I shall say. So it's not just all just, criticism. All right, so that makes two stories, and as I said, the third one is going to be my typical prediction, and I just want to show folks my predictions from the last year, and I guess we will see how many of them came true and see how good I will I will do like for the next year. I claimed a little bit too soon that the AI honeymoon is over because there seems to be another way for honeymoon, or maybe realization kind of coming in, but we're not at the divorce stage just yet. Maybe I don't know. We're somewhere in the weird like universe AI wise, and I do think that this part I just wanted to point this one out. I think that is kind of becoming closer and closer because um,
Yeah.
and I don't know if it's going to get better before it gets worse or it's going to get worse before it gets better. But currently, it's really, there is no AI tool I know of that is like widely available that is really like excellent as at just doing developers just job like replacing developer in any way. There are many tools that can be helpful, but if someone is still kind of lives with ideas that they're just going to take, remove developer completely and just going to vibe code something and put it in production, that's not the thing that's going to happen. And if someone does, it's going to end pretty poorly. And I think we spent good chunks talking about this in our podcast last time. So yeah, I don't want to plan to reopen that conversation, but definitely interesting subject for the next year. So that's all for me, Paul. Over
Okay.
to whoever wants to go next.
Over to Yankee Paul. Yeah.
Over to Yankee Paul. All right.
Um, Here we go. So this is something I've touched on this a few times,
Yep.
and there just continues to be action here. And the reason I bring this up again, so this is about um, the junior level people and their suffering these
Mhm.
days, right? Because there's a real pile of hurt going on for the young folks
Yeah.
out there these days in the job market, right? And in software development, it just is continuing to sort of kind of be bleak, right? The uh, the early career folks doing this stuff continue to sort of be losing relative headcount to the other folks doing these things. Um, and there's a couple of different uh, things out there affecting this, and I don't know whether I can assign the blame to one factor entirely. But the reason I bring this up again is because I actually had the chance to talk to a young person, so I won't name them. We didn't talk publicly, but I had the chance to talk to a young person for their college class, and this person's in a technology program at a local university around here. Um, And since this person knows that I work at a startup that does some AI stuff, right? They were very curious about this and that and all this. And um, I I had the chance to ask him, well, how are you guys doing in your classes, and how are you guys feeling in your lives and stuff? And he shared with me that everyone in his cohort, everyone around him who is like who wants to graduate and have some sort of a job is terrified, and they're not getting the thing. They have there's it's starting to be a thing where applying for internships requires internship experience.
Hmm.
And that makes no freaking sense to me, right? Like,
Well,
isn't isn't the
that's a
point?
catch 22 thing. That is.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
isn't the point of an internship that you've never done the thing before? Right?
Yeah.
That makes this guy describing all these woes that they have. I felt again for the young people out there who have entered college or entered their young professional lives with a certain expectation, certain whatever, and the world changed right under their feet. And it's a struggle to come up from that. Um, and something's going on between various things. Again, I don't know all the factors here. People keep pointing at AI. I don't know how much that's true yet, not true yet. I don't know. But there's another couple of other stories I can point to and kind of talk about.
Can I just interject here about
Yeah,
your
yeah,
last
please, please.
guy? I got a sort of horror story here about a guy in
Yeah,
a conference, and he's young, right? And
yeah.
he actually first job was at SAP,
Hmm.
right? And he actually wrote some code, and I looked at it in the standard SAP system, and it looks fine to me. And then he was convinced to leave his job and do like a 3 year master's in AI and machine learning. And he's now finished. And get the feeling he thinks, oh dear, I wish I hadn't done that.
What did I do? Yeah, I, I like the I don't know like I don't know how else to say it except like I lucked into my age cohort that I am right now, where it was like you can't swing a dead cat without hitting somebody who needs somebody who can like I point to a keyboard and identify the return key essentially, and that was enough to get a job doing techie-ish stuff, and I could kind of climb up from there. That's not the world now. People like something's different out there. Um, and so like my hope is that I can maybe identify some way to help people or kind of look forward to it. But at this very, very particular moment right now, I don't know what that hope is. I don't know what that thing is. But I would love to find something that could help people or share something that helps people because the situation seems to be still, pretty bad for those folks. So
Yeah, Paul,
anyway,
you were Paul Waterman. You were showing that chart there that showed the young people, the young software developers that's the one, having the problem. What I thought of is that it's probably not only young people that are having this problem. Just a few years ago, a lot of areas at least in the United States, that were suffering because the industry had moved out. They were hearing people tell them, well, if you can't do coal mining or whatever it might have been, well, get into programming, get into the software
yeah,
development.
yeah,
Yeah.
And that was just, let's say, 5 years ago, before AI became a thing. And now suddenly
yeah.
AI is here. And the advice that was given only a few years ago is now no longer very good advice.
Yeah.
The I don't know what to say other than like sorry young folks, whatever your parents were told when they were growing up is not true anymore. Like you can't do the world that way anymore. Something is different. So I want to offer anything I can because I feel like I had people like lowering the ladder for me, and I want to try to lower the ladder down for them, um, and see what can be at least advised in some way. But that being said, I also don't want to like spend all of my time in this particular episode just like gloom and doom, blah blah, everything sucks, right? So
Nice
so let me
holiday,
let me
Paul.
move on.
Yeah.
Let me move
No, and
on to
there's
the
and
next.
there's hope because what you just noted before about all of the AI that's going to generate code that then has to be corrected by somebody. So I think
Mhm.
that might be a silver lining here because there might be such bad code that'll take an army of people to keep it correct.
Well, I'm thinking we're simply physically going to run out of senior developers. So, I mean, right now it's probably bad timing, like purely being in this specific timeline. But few years down the road, all this, this chart, half of this chart is going to start retiring, moving on to something else. I mean, not all people want to do development for a very long time. There are many people who are like, okay, I did it, I'm done. And at that point, it will be like, oh crap, AI not going to be ready to replace them at that time for sure. Or if it is, it's not going to be in a very good shape. So I do predict that, and we really see that little hopeful uptick, like at the very end there. Hopefully it might already be happening. Someone is realizing rather sooner than later. So maybe like few years down the road, like younger developers might actually be in a much better position. Again, totally sucks for those who are there right now. But yeah, I hope some kind of correction is going to just take place because people are not like infinite resources.
Yeah. I don't, so I guess, so I don't know whether I share that hope
Okay.
because, yeah, like I wish I did, but I don't know if I do because I spend a lot of my time doing AI things. I'm the Kool-Aid guy of
So
AI around here. I
you're
very much
destroying
am.
the world, Paul.
I'm destroying, I'm contributing. I made this chart. No, I didn't make this chart. But I made it happen. No, I didn't make it happen. But the the frontier level of code quality as the new AIs get released, it is getting better. And things are improving in that. And like I don't know that I expect things to be like you need to mop up. I don't know that I expect that to be the case for very long.
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be different. I don't know. But anyway, I don't want to stay glum. I want to move on to some more AI stuff. But this is so when we talk about Joule and AI and other stuff, like this is from AWS reInvent, and I think this talk just happened like a day or two ago. And so kudos to AWS for like just releasing their talks or many of the talks like on YouTube. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. Like many conferences do these days. Um, so we've all heard about Joule. It's called Joule for Developers, comma ABAP AI capabilities is the official name of the Joule thing.
Of course it is.
Just let's not let's make sure we're doing the branding right on this
Mm.
stuff. Because it's not Joule for consultants, and it's not Joule for whatever. That's what it is for this. Amazon also has an offering in this related space. And so I actually watched this video as soon as I saw it. I saw a mention of it on Twitter or something like that. I immediately watched it because I'm just that guy. Um, and I got to tell you, if I was SAP and if I was hanging my hat on Joule for developers, comma ABAP AI capabilities to be like a revenue generator kind of thing, I don't know that I would be happy about this because I've also tried Joule for developers, comma ABAP AI capabilities myself, and it is sorely lacking what this is capable of doing.
And
And
and it's more expensive than all the other. And I say that this is not the only one. There's about 20. Jim sent me a bloody big list of them the other day, right? Of all the things that are competing with Joule
Yeah.
for AI, blah,
yeah,
blah, 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 right? There's
there's
about 20 things fighting in this space, right? And half of them are free. And Joule costs $10 billion.
yeah, I don't know exactly what the licensing is for. It probably changes for everybody anyway, but uh, and I have to do like the little asterisk like to this comment. Like I work for a startup that is making a thing that's with this, and in my opinion, what we've made is even better than this. But I don't want to turn this podcast into me shilling for stuff. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to say anything else. But I will say that this thing is much more capable than Joule for developers, comma, ABAP AI capabilities. The like there's if you have the chance to try the SAP thing, you will pretty quickly see like it's been it's been curbed and guided and shoved and restrained and boxed in and all these kinds of things to these very particular use cases. And this video here, and other things you might find in the marketplace, wherever you might look for them, have many, many more capabilities and a little more like freedom to do what you want to do rather than the restraints that Joule puts on you for that stuff. So I'll do a blow by blow like Joule versus this thing comparison
Mm.
in the newsletter. Um, as a hey, keep your eyes open, world, because there's more than just Joule out there. There's way more than just Joule out there. If you have an itch for AI to help you.
Paul, for maybe some of the viewers that are watching this, what I'm noticing is that it's a modernized a legacy app. It suggests that this thing called Q Developer is intended to retrofit existing code. Can you clarify that? Is that what you
That's
think
a
it's
that's a
intended to
good
do?
that's a good question, Jim. Thank you for that. So this is the title of this demonstration and this video is I'm not sure I'd call it misleading, but it's a little weird because actually what happens here is they do demonstrations of entirely new stuff. They don't do a demonstration of here's my old from 1996 thing, and then I'll just like do a Houdini thing and woof, here's a new thing. It's not that. It's purely make the new thing
Hmm.
is the thing here.
So
Um,
that title is totally wrong then.
it's yeah, I mean, because yeah, um, uh, there again to be fair to my employer, there are things that do this, but again, I'm not trying to be a shill for that. I'm just saying like this particular demonstration doesn't show turn the old into the new. It says give me a prompt for the new kind of thing here. Um, yeah, but that's a good question, Jim, because and you I think you sniffed it out, right? Because that like getting modernizing stuff is that's a longer row to hoe than just like making the new thing, right?
Right.
There's more stuff involved there. It's a tougher challenge, I think. Um, yeah, for sure. There are also other little resources that are available too. There's QR codes that are in this video, and I'll put the links to those too. But just so people can kind of watch out for that stuff. Um, the last thing that I'll share is we've had BDC. We've been beaten round the head with BDC for the last year or so from SAP, and there are other things out there. One of them being Microsoft Fabric, in maybe in related space. I'm not sure I'd call it necessarily like one-to-one competitor for sure, but the between BDC, DataSphere, Fabric, and other things, there are many ways to like wrangle data from one place to the other, and SAP connectivity to Fabric is a pretty interesting thing because Fabric is a very powerful set of tools. And I think the places out there in the world who don't have SAP as like the entirety of their enterprise universe, but SAP is like one of N giant things in their enterprise universe, probably appreciate like uh, maybe slightly more agnostic platforms to look at that data stuff because the data is everything, right? So I'll do a little write up about this, just about the connectivity for SAP to various places in Fabric as well. Nothing.
I'm always amazed at how the terminology changes over the years, and there's always something new that I haven't seen before. Like last year it was data fabric. I noticed in the article you've got on the screen they talk about data estates. I've never heard that one before. It's someone's job to sit there and make these things up.
That would be a fun job, although these days that would be a job I would also be scared of AI taking my job if it was my job to make up funny terms for things, or weird terms or confusing terms. because now there's data lake houses too. So there's lots of data things that are like have sprouted up in the last year or two that you didn't see coming. Okay, but anyway, so these are the things that I will in one way or another address for the upcoming issue, as well as perhaps my own thoughts and some predictions and things for the future. But I'm keeping that close to the chest. Okay, so I'll stop sharing mine. Is there anybody else who'd like to share something they've been thinking about or writing about or reading about or whatever that we could chat about? If so, please, the floor is yours.
I'm going to be. I'm looking at the last year's one about crystal balls and all that sort of thing, and seeing if I can do something similar. But I was trying to do it yesterday, but never got around to it. But I will certainly have a go because, of course, a year's worth of nonsense has happened this year, and I can certainly make some predictions, which
Yeah,
uh, I did.
yeah.
This just as one example of a prediction that never came true, and that was I think it's Christine Klein, the head of SAP, or what have you, who said by the end of 2024. Right. He said by the end of that, by 31/12/2024. I'm sorry, I'm using the non-American way of saying a date. Right.
Oh, well, I figure it out. Yeah.
By that date, said no SAP user in the world will be doing transaction codes anymore. Right. By December 2024, then we just ask in the machine what to do, and it will do it for them. And
Yeah.
I thought that was a bit ambitious. I, I
I
think
I
people are still using transaction codes, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I need to go find the attribution to that code and post a thing somewhere saying, maybe revise the year on this one.
Along that line, I'm wondering when we might hear an announcement that the uh, support for the general SAP and that's supposed to end in 2030, I think it is now.
Yes,
Instead of
yes.
2025, they moved it to 2030. Okay, that's 5 years, 4 years in the future, I guess. And I'm wondering when that's going to be extended further because I don't have any faith that enough business people are going to meet that date.
I can
You
answer
know,
that one. I can answer that one because it was at a conference the other day. Right?
Oh, tell
What
us
they've
all.
done, what they've done is they said okay, it's 2033 now, but you've got to pay through the nose.
Yeah.
Right? And if you pay through the nose, right? Then yep, we're going to give you an extra 3 years. But you've got to move it. So I don't know. It's some ridiculous hybrid on-premise cloudy thing, which I don't pretend to understand. It's like a half cat, half dog thing. Uh, oh,
oh, so funny you guys mentioned this because in this video, the AWS video that I just showed the link for, they don't ever show the presenters, but you can hear the presenters talking to the audience in the video.
hmm,
And at some point early in the video, the presenters, these people from AWS, who presumably are thinking about the future and all these kinds of things, right? They ask the room of people who are at AWS reInvent, who presumably are there for AWS stuff, but they also run SAP somewhere in their lives too, right? They ask the room, hey, just a show of hands, or anybody here still running ECC? And then you can't see the room, of course, but you hear the presenter goes, oh, many of you are still running ECC,
Yeah.
right? Like the room was like
Surprise.
every hand went up essentially, right?
yeah, yeah.
And funny enough, some companies who run like S/4HANA in some instances, they still have some ECC systems left. So
Yeah.
some people like I don't know, I'm gonna raise like both hands or something. It's not unusual.
So what
Uh,
it's again what the SAP, the guy from SAP was saying, and he was in despair at the conference. He's saying, like, we gave you 18 years notice. Right, the ECC was going out of support, and people still say it wasn't enough. For the all well and good, giving people 18 years notice is fun, but I suppose the problem was there was no there was no business case for going to S/4HANA, and maybe there still isn't, which would
Yeah.
explain like
I,
why people everyone
yeah.
put their hand up.
Yeah. That's a thing that's I can hear an SAP sales drone starting up their engines to respond to what you just said, Paul. I don't, yeah. Um, yeah. Um, well, guys, if there's nothing else to show, let's keep it short and sweet and give the people what they want and get out the door here. So, on behalf of everybody surrounding me in the picture, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.